We're here at the Gorge White House checking out the dahlias and strawberries
on the Fruit Loop Trail here in Mount Hood, Oregon.
And here's what's coming up on
this episode of Roaming with Rosie.
The KOA and Cascade Locks along the Columbia River in Oregon was the perfect base camp for visiting many of the top spots that you don't want to miss here. On our last episode, we took you to some of the best free and affordable attractions that are located there. There's a link here or in this video's description if you want to check that out. It was October and boy did it show, and that means fall foliage and harvest time along the Hood River Fruit Loop about 20 miles from us. On this episode, we'll be visiting a few of the orchards and farms for apples, pears, wine, ice cream, flower gardens, and more. Then we'll continue up to the top of Mount Hood to visit the historical Timberline Lodge, which was made famous in the Jack Nicholson film The Shining. But its history and architectural details are even more well known. Then we'll check out some of the amazing waterfalls along Scenic Highway 30. They're so incredibly beautiful when you see them with the fall leaves. So we stopped at this viewpoint that we've passed a couple times on the way up to Mount Hood and around the Fruit Loop. So it's called Panorama Loop. And there's a reason that it's called Panorama Loop. I'm going to show you. That's Mount Hood. I think it's 11,000 something feet. Look at all the pretty leaves turning. Looks a little like the Matterhorn at Disneyland. There's a reason this is called Panorama Point. We're on the Fruit Loop Trail, scenic route, and this is our first stop today. Our next stop on the Hood River Fruit Loop was the Gorge White House. What a gorgeous place. They've created an inviting place to picnic, stroll through the beautiful farm and orchards, or grab a flight of their beer or wine and enjoy it in their lovely tasting room. Jamie and I are out to look at the flowers and the fruit right now. Look at the pretty dahlias. Seems to be the popular flower, at least right now. Since we can hear the train and I can see the destination that we rode that train to yesterday, we're going to share our opinion of that trip. Our experience on Oregon's Mount Hood Railroad was underwhelming, especially compared to some other train trips of this type that we've taken. If you follow Roaming with Rosie, then you know that we rarely say anything negative about places or activities we visit. If we don't like it, we just don't tell you about it at all. But this was fairly expensive and the value wasn't there. The main purpose of the excursion seemed to be to drop everyone at the fruit company packing house. But we found mostly empty shelves when we arrived. And guess what? The fruit company acquired the Mount Hood Railroad in March of 2023. Sorry folks, this just isn't a trip that we recommend. Let's get back to this wonderful farm called the Gorge White House. How opposite of an experience is this? This is a you-pick farm. You pick up buckets at the fruit stand where they'll explain what's ripe, where it is, and how it works. We just enjoyed walking through the rows of flowers, which are also part of the you-pick items. We packed our lunch, but there's all these treats here, so I think we're going to get a treat instead. James get ice cream for brunch.
Yeah, that's my brunch right there.
Works for me.
We brought a picnic today for our drive around the Fruit Loop, but I don't know that Jamie's ice cream was on our picnic.
No, when you get to a place and they have ice cream, you have ice cream.
And it's made here ice cream. And I got this cute little spice cake cupcake.
So how's your spice cupcake?
It was awesome. The cake itself reminds me of if you went to school in Los Angeles. The Los Angeles City Schools was famous for their spice cake that they had. Their a coffee cake, they called it. This reminds me of that. So they've got burgers and sandwiches, but they also have caramelized onion and pear flatbread. Here's where they have their hard cider beer and wine tasting. I did a little wine tasting here, and surprisingly, I chose their Heritage Pear wine. I'm not a sweet wine lover, but this was light and not overwhelmingly fruity.
So what are you doing here?
Picking out pears.
Okay.
This is a start.
You know you gotta get more than one, otherwise you don't have a pear.
This is a star creamsicle. Never heard of it, so I'm gonna try some.
This was one of those special places and a perfect time to come here. It's a place we won't soon forget. The day before, following the train trip, we stopped at another fun location on the Fruit Loop. This was the Hood River Organic U-Pick Orchard. My cousins Greg and Marianne, who you may remember traveled with us up the Oregon coast, met up with us for the train and some of this fun and fruity drive. $3.50 a pound for organic apples.
Oh yeah?
Is that a dahlia?
Yeah, I think. Yes.
Look at these.
I love dahlias.
I do too.
More fun.
We found U-Pick organic apples about halfway up Mount Hood. We're on the Fruit Loop, and this is already more fun than the train. But we got our bucket. They're $3.50 a pound. A bucket full is about $35, so he gave us that estimate so you know, and you don't get sticker shock. And the trees are all labeled. Well, they had some pippins halfway down. And this is all organic, so that's why you gotta watch for worms and bugs, because they don't put out pesticides here. I'm tasting a Honeycrisp. They used to be like $7 a pound for organic. $3.50 a pound's pretty good, and they've been on the tree until they're ripe. So good. You can probably hear how crisp that is from a few feet away. So juicy. One of my favorite things about picking fruit is tasting it all, right? It's so good. That's a Honeycrisp. They've got goats and pigs and llamas and sheep, and you can pet all of them. They gave us instructions where they like to be petted. Look, hi. They said that we could pet you on the head. You like to be petted on the head. Oh, yeah. Like, what is that? What is that, huh? Come here. Is that scaring you? That's Primrose. She's friendly, but not to me because I have a camera and it's scary. And this beauty wanted nothing to do with me. Showed me some teeth, but it's probably the camera. So I'm kind of giving him some space. This is Lollipop. He is friendly to anyone that doesn't have a camera. That one's King of the Mountain. Little piggy snouts. Little piggy snouts. Hi. Hi, cutie. Hey, I don't got nothing. You made the trip for nothing. We made another quick stop at Draper Girls Farm, where we tasted some hard ciders. So this is Draper Girls, and they've got all their fall seasonal things. You can sit out back and eat the goodies you buy here, or just sit and look at their flowers. They do sell the dahlias, $2 a stem. Looks like we're kind of at the end of the season though. They're cute. Yeah, I don't have any food though. I didn't bring any food over here for you, but you're very cute. And they have resident goats, and you can purchase a bag of feed for just $5. Let's get back on track on our day trip where Jamie and I headed up to Mount Hood. He's a serious movie buff, and visiting Timberline Lodge was high on his bucket list as it was the hotel used in the filming of The Shining. But on its own value, Timberline Lodge holds historical significance and is worth the trip. For us, the drive up the mountain was an adventure in itself, winding through old-growth forests and beautiful fall foliage. High on the flanks of Oregon's majestic Mount Hood, at 6,000 feet above sea level, stands one of America's most remarkable architectural achievements. Timberline Lodge isn't just a building, it's a testament to human ingenuity, artistic vision, and the indomitable spirit of the Great Depression era. Mount Hood itself towers above at 11,249 feet, making it Oregon's highest peak and the fourth highest in the Cascade Range. In 1935, America was deep in the throes of the Great Depression. President Franklin D. Roosevelt's Works Progress Administration was putting thousands of unemployed Americans back to work, and one of their most ambitious projects would rise from the volcanic slopes of Mount Hood. The WPA allocated $695,000 for construction. That's equivalent to over $14 million today. But this wasn't just about building a lodge. It was about creating jobs for skilled artisans, craftsmen, and laborers who had been devastated by the economic collapse. Construction began in 1936, employing over 450 workers at its peak, and brought together master stonemasons, woodworkers, metalworkers, weavers, and artists. The project became a collaborative effort between the WPA, the Forest Service, and local artisans. The lodge officially opened its doors on September 28, 1937, when President Roosevelt himself dedicated the building. Roosevelt declared it a monument to the skill and faithful performance of workers on the rolls of the Works Progress Administration. What makes Timberline Lodge truly extraordinary isn't just its stunning location, but the meticulous attention to detail that went into its construction. The steep pitched roofs and heavy timber construction aren't just aesthetically pleasing, they're engineered to withstand the extreme weather conditions at this elevation. Step inside and you'll discover what many consider the lodge's crowning achievement, the main lobby, dominated by a six-sided stone fireplace that rises 92 feet from the ground floor to the roof. The hand-forged ironwork throughout the lodge was created on-site by WPA blacksmiths. The textiles, from bedspreads to draperies, were hand-woven using traditional techniques. Even the furniture was custom-built for the lodge, with many pieces still in use today, nearly 90 years later. The artwork throughout the lodge reflects themes of Pacific Northwest history and culture. Hand-painted murals depict regional wildlife and landscapes, while carved wooden panels celebrate the area's logging and mountaineering heritage. Every artistic element was thoughtfully integrated into the lodge's overall design philosophy. By the 1950s, the lodge was struggling financially. The building suffered from deferred maintenance, and visitor numbers had dwindled. In 1955, the Forest Service made the difficult decision to close Timberline Lodge to overnight guests, though it remained open for day use. For the next few decades, this architectural masterpiece sat largely empty, its handcrafted interiors gathering dust, while the harsh mountain weather took its toll on the exterior. Many feared that this Depression-era treasure might be lost forever. At the end of this period, the lodge gained unexpected fame as the exterior setting for Stanley Kubrick's 1980 horror film, The Shining. The lodge's imposing facade became iconic to movie audiences worldwide and introduced a new generation to its architectural splendor. The lodge's salvation came in 1975. A dedicated group of local business leaders formed the nonprofit organization Friends of Timberline. They negotiated a long-term lease with the Forest Service and embarked on an ambitious restoration project. Original WPA craftsmanship has been painstakingly preserved and restored. The summer months represent one of Timberline's most unique features. the longest ski season in North America. The Timberline ski area, which operates on Palmer Glacier, typically runs from November through Labor Day, and sometimes ski racing teams from around the world come here to train on the glacier's reliable snow conditions. You'll see crews maintaining the mountain, preparing chairlifts, and grooming slopes for the upcoming season. The lodge does welcome day visitors to explore its public spaces, dine in its restaurants, and browse its gift shop filled with locally crafted items that echo the WPA artisan tradition. The experience was educational and inspiring, and a chance to step back in time. The Oregon side of the Columbia River Gorge is known for its spectacular waterfalls. Most flow year-round and are easily accessible. We had time tonight to fit in one more falls before we leave the Columbia River Gorge area in a couple days, and I saw that this one was part of our loop around Mount Hood, so the sun hasn't gone down. We made it and it's beautiful. This is Horsetail Falls.
I was looking to the long when I'd already found my home. Won't be long, I'm there before the setting sun, for you to fall into my arms, the place I call my home. I was looking to the long when I already found my home.
We also met with Ron and Jody of the YouTube channel Just Ramblin' Around. This was for a half day of waterfall viewing along the Scenic Highway 30. The Pacific Northwest is their stomping grounds, and they're the experts on what to do, where to stay, and what to see up here. We planned much of this trip watching their channel. We made it to Multnomah Falls here in Oregon. We went through a series of waterfalls today.
And our escorts were Ron and Jody from Just Rambling Around.
And they were generous enough to take a day off and come and meet us here because they're really the experts when it comes to Pacific Northwest. Sadly, our SD card that we recorded the whole day on failed, so all of the GoPro video recorded on it was lost. We still wanted to share with you what we do have and encourage you to check out Just Ramblin' Around episodes for great information about the falls and anything else Pacific Northwest. You won't be disappointed. The first waterfall of the tour was Lateral Falls. There are actually two major waterfalls on the Lateral Falls Trail. There's upper and lower waterfalls. The lower falls are visible from the parking lot. However, you can take a short walk underneath this beautiful and historic 1914 bridge to the base of the lower falls. The lower falls are the taller of the two, dropping 224 feet from a cliff. Bridal Veil Falls was our next stop. Ron and Jody really knew all the best tips for seeing these beautiful waterfalls. They even knew when to hop off Scenic Highway 30 and hop on Interstate 84 for the best approach to our next destination, Multnomah Falls. Our final stop was Multnomah Falls. This is the most popular and parking can be confusing. We parked in the middle of Highway 84. Seriously, That's where the big lot is. A $2 timed use permit is required to visit Multnomah Falls from late May through early September between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. So we didn't need this because permits are not needed outside of these hours. We'll put links in this video's description. Multnomah Falls is definitely the granddaddy of all the falls in Oregon at 620 feet. Multnomah Falls flows year-round. Rainwater, an underground spring, and snowmelt feed the falls throughout all 4 seasons and ensure a spectacular sight any day of the year. According to Native American lore, Multnomah Falls was created to win the heart of a young princess who wanted a hidden place to bathe. However, another version tells of a legend where a young princess sacrifices herself to save her people from disease. I don't know about you, but I prefer the first version, where the princess gets a private bath instead of dying. We did have time to enjoy lunch with Ron and Jody in the beautiful Multnomah Falls Lodge, built in 1925, and we highly recommend it. There's also a snack bar outside and picnic tables as well. We'll end this video with a clip from Just Ramblin' Around's episode of The Area. We hope this video helped you to plan your trip to the Columbia River Gorge. As always, there's links to everything presented in this video's description.
We wanted to begin our tour with Jamie and Linda at the Vista House atop Crown Point to get a great perspective of the Columbia River Gorge's beauty, which is perched 733 feet above the river. Vista House at Crown Point isn't just a scenic stop, it's a piece of Oregon's history. Built in 1917, the stunning octagonal building was designed as a comfort station for travelers along the newly completed Columbia River Highway, the first scenic highway in the United States.